work globally as a speaker, retreat facilitator, medium, and mentor. My mission is to awaken and realign you back to your magnificence, your power, and infinite potential. As the founder of the Rise with Love philosophy, I'm honored to share wisdom that will create the expansion of joy, abundance, love, and freedom to flow into your life. If you're ready, I want to hear you say yes, because the most wonderful things will unfold for you when you embark on the journey to rise with love. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to a brand new episode. As you rise with love, you'll have many mentors and gurus emerge to take you to the next step of your evolution. And this is what we will discuss today with my very special guest. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. She is a writer and a course creator, and she will share her story and powerful work that she does with Quantum Leaps. Her mission is to help women leap into being the person they truly are, to stop thinking small and to lead by example. I am beyond excited for this conversation because this kind of thing fascinates me. So it's my greatest honor to introduce you to Alison Shift.
Hi, Melissa. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, it's such a great honor. Thank you so much for taking the time to share your wisdom and your knowledge. I so love the kind of work that you do. It is so needed for humanity. And to get this time to speak with you is such a blessing. I know everyone's going to really benefit with what you have to say. So I'm so glad the universe brought the two of us together and that we can co-create this time. So I want to ask you, you have this pretty big ambition to write 17 books. Where did that start? How did you decide, okay, I'm going to write 17 books?
Okay, it's a bit of a long story, but through my whole life, I've known that I'm a writer and I want to write a book. I even felt like everybody felt that way. And it wasn't until I shared that thought with people that I realized it was not everybody wants to be a writer. So that's the first thing. The next thing is I always put that off. Okay, I want to write a book, and I knew that that was my path, but I wasn't taking action on that. And it really, like, analyzing the thought behind not writing was that I was always trying to make the book perfect. So it just never existed. And then one day I was reading Mike Dooley, he was in The Secret and he's done lots and lots of books. And he just said that he had written 17 books, and it was like an aha moment for me. I just went, oh, I'm going to write 17 books as well. And as soon as I said that, I just felt the inspiration to write a book. It's just like the words just came out of me. But as soon as the pressure was off, like, oh, I'm going to write a book. And as soon as the pressure of perfection was taken off me, it's like, well, there's 17 books. So this book doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be a book.
Wow, that's amazing. I have been toying with the idea of writing a book for, oh gosh, I don't know. And then I start a little bit and then I'm like, no, I want to write something else. So I admire you so much for having 17 books, 1 and 7 adds up to 8. What a beautiful number in terms of numerology that is. And how many have you written so far?
I'm working on my first book, which is called Quantum Leap You, which is about quantum leaping. I've just really liked this idea of quantum leaping and transforming your life quickly rather than going through the normal stages of kind of climbing up the ladder, I guess you would. All the research I've done on this topic, I haven't really got the meat out of the topic that I want. So there's some great books out there, but it's like there's something missing from it. So I really have something to say around the topic, and that's where the idea came from.
Yeah, and I always say to everybody, there will never be another you as there are right now in this moment in all of Earth's existence. And so you have this incredible, unique way of interpreting source energy, or however you want to define that. And so even though there might be things already out there, you're the only one, Alison, who can put it in this unique way that it needs to be brought into the world. So we're really excited for you to bring this incredible work. I want to know, because you don't just go from, okay, I'm going to write 17 books, right? What was the tipping point in your life that made you go, you know what, I can't continue to live my life this way, where it's just day in, day out, the same Groundhog Day kind of stuff? And how did you work through that?
I guess there's been a few instances. So previously, I was very unhappy in my job and I started listening to Jess Lively. I don't know if anyone's heard her podcast, and it was just lots of talk about the law of attraction and using your thoughts to create your reality. And I just kept listening and switched my thoughts to things that I wanted to have happen. Like this is so bad, I wanted them to pay me to leave my job because I was so unhappy there. And I'd heard about it happening to people and it was just like, that would never happen to me. But I just kept thinking it sometimes, and I wrote a resignation letter which I never gave to anyone. I just kept it with me, and eventually they paid me to leave my job. And I'm just influenced by a lot of, like you said, other gurus and self-help experts and things. But with the writing, I read another book that was about finding your true calling and your inspiration, and it said that we all have a unique gift that we need to bring to the world. And I think this was myself at the time, but a lot of people do the same thing where you go, well, I don't have a unique gift and I don't have anything special. And also that I don't know what my gift is. And the more I read it, I just went, oh, I'm a writer. I know this, I'm a writer. And I just confidently said, I'm a writer, I can write. And so when I committed to saying I'm going to write a book, I knew I could write a book. There was no resistance to that. And like I said, when I write, it's the words just flow out of me. When I first said I'm a writer, I had this conversation with my friend on the phone, and she was talking about how her dad was a writer and her dad was going to enter this writing competition, and just kept talking. And I thought, oh, I could enter a writing competition. This will be amazing. And then that night I went on the internet and found a list of writing competitions, and I just found one that resonated with me and wrote something and sent it off. And it was the first writing competition I've ever entered, and I won.
Oh my gosh, I'm in awe of how amazing you are at manifesting. And I think we have so much to learn at how quickly you do that. So explain to us, what is quantum leaps? Because however you're doing it, I want some of that. And I think everyone else wants some of that too. What is your magic?
Okay, I have 5 steps to quantum leaping, which I will go into in a minute. I suppose that's the magic, that's the how-to. Everybody knows the steps for manifesting or what you're supposed to be doing, but the most important thing is, when you think negative thoughts or you start going down the downward spiral in your mind, is don't beat yourself up for doing that. Just move on. And so it's not oh, you thought a negative thought, now negative things are happening to you. The bit that's really holding you back is where you beat yourself up for it. So you're suffering for no reason. It's so bad stuff happens, get over it.
Say, Alison, that's the judgment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we judge ourselves all the time, don't we? And other people. So really letting go of that judgment for your negative thoughts or for focusing on drama that's not really serving you. You're just human, so let it go.
And can you share the 5 steps with us? Because
sorry.
I need to know what those 5 steps are. But you're so right. We need to let go. You said to me when we were, chatting about how people want to do things so perfectly. And I've always said to all my clients, people will choose real over perfect any day. And you say that perfection is what holds people back. So before you do share these steps, why do people want to be perfect before they do something?
I don't know. I always thought it was me because growing up, it was I could do things well the first time, most things. And then if something was a bit difficult, I just didn't do that thing. So then the result is I only do some things or I only do things that are easy. But I don't think everybody has that. I think we don't want to be the judgment. Like you said, we don't want to be judged by other people. The old kind of, is it the herd mentality where you don't want people to excommunicate you from the group? So you don't want to mess up where people will kick you out of the group.
No one wants to be seen as a outcast or different. And
yeah, that's right, isn't it?
And it does, and it's crippling, isn't it? Because so many people have these ideas, they have this incredible skill and talent, and they just never put it out into the world. Because they're it's not perfect. And I don't know about you, Alison, I'm it becomes perfect as you go on the journey. It evolves, it becomes what it needs to. But it won't do that if you just never put it out there.
Yeah, that's right. And really, we spend so much time in our heads thinking, oh, what should I do next? It's you don't actually know what you should do next because you haven't like taken the first step. So how would you know what the second step is to do?
Yeah, totally. I love that you have this outlook on life because I fully vibe with it. We are so vibing right now. I love it. And now, do tell us about these 5 steps because, like I said before, I need to know what those are. And I know everyone is sitting on the edge of their seats listening, going, I need the magic sauce. So, what's the magic sauce, Alison?
Okay. It goes, step 1 is to choose your goal, which is pretty obvious, know what you want. And step 2 is to align your thoughts with the goal. So with alignment, I try not to focus too much on, you know how it's like, I want money, let's align myself with money. You really just need to get into alignment. So feel good and feel happy and feel secure. So I like to listen to music and dance around for that part, not necessarily do something that matches with the goal. It's just get in alignment, do what makes you feel good. So that's really the key, is alignment before action. So after you get into alignment, then you can move on to taking massive action. And when you take massive action, you should be working towards your goal. And step 4, I say you need to feel afraid or scared when you take the massive action. And this is how you know that you're actually leaping, because if you were doing something within your comfort zone, you're not going to leap your life because you're not out of your comfort zone. You're not out of the area where you're comfortable and where you're actually living. So your new life for quantum leaping is beyond where you are now. So taking the massive action and the step is going to make you feel uncomfortable and uneasy. And then step 5 is to move into the space. So this is where you become the person that you're quantum leaping to and where you want to go. So really, when you think about a goal at the start, you need to have a massive goal, because quantum leaping is you becoming more than you are at the moment. So I like to think of it like, if you're in a company, you can see the trajectory of I'm getting promoted, I'm going up the ladder. This is you stepping outside of that ladder and leaping to another dimension, I guess, another you and another timeline. So you become a rider, you become 25 pounds skinnier than before. I don't know what your goal is, but it's not you following the normal path of where you normally lead to, but leaping to where you should be.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I can fully understand what you're saying. It's something that I believe, is so important for humanity to do. I want to know, Alison, what step do you think people go, not doing this? I'm just going to stay with what I know, even though it's not what I want, but it's familiar. So I'm just going to stay there.
Yeah. So it's number 3, the taking massive action. Yeah. So we all know our goal. Let's say we do. It's quite easy to pick a goal of where we want to go, align your thoughts, and then it's taking massive action. That's the tricky part, especially it's the massive word and the feeling uneasy, that part that we all struggle with.
Do you think that it's because we're taking the action, or can I just put it maybe from this angle that we don't feel that we're allowed to dream that big? Like, who am I to want to write 17 books, for example, or who am I to want to, lose 20 kilos? Do you think that it could be not necessarily about the action it's going to take, but more, who am I to think this big?
Yeah, absolutely. So then that brings up the issues of self-worth, and yeah, you're right. Who am I to think this big? I guess I always just think that's something that we all have to keep in mind. It's like, you are enough, you are perfect, like you can do this. I try to think in these terms. It's like, you should be that person. It's like, it's inevitable that you're going to be that person. It's actually not that you need to take massive action to get to that quantum leap. It's more looking at how you've stopped yourself getting there already. It's like, that was your kind of ease and flow and natural path, and somehow your negative thoughts have blocked you along the way, rather than the opposite way of thinking, like, oh, you have to struggle to get there. Like you're saying, with the massive action, it really stops us. It's not that you have to struggle to get there. It's like, you have to unstruggle all these kind of negative beliefs, self-worth, all these blocks you've put in the way to stop you being that person.
Yeah. And that's probably where people go, oh, that's going to require me to do a bit of healing or to go within myself. And they kind of go, yeah, I don't want to do that. I just want to stay in my life that I don't want to be in any way because I don't want to do the work. So,
Yeah.
Alison, what kind of things can we do to enhance our mindset to allow the massive action to actually happen with ease and flow? Because I understand the universe, I know you understand the universe, and it's about the ease and the flow of things. So what can we do
Yeah.
to bring our mindset to welcome that?
I think the first thing is to notice your thoughts and your feelings. So, yeah, with manifesting, you're going to want to get into alignment and think about your goal. And then when negative things pop up and you get sucked into the drama of other situations that aren't serving you, or it's like other ideas that you don't really want to be a part of, just notice that. And it's not really fighting. You don't really want to fight with the situation and go and scream at it. It's just letting go of those ideas that aren't serving you.
How can we identify, for example, that actually this is our limiting story or our limiting belief? Because I know you have on your website that you want to help people to leave their job so that they're doing something that they're passionate about. So how can we identify what is that story and what is that block when we don't even realize we're in it?
I think it's identifying that everybody has a unique gift and a unique power. And like you said, a unique story to tell and a spin on something. And sometimes we are stuck in that story of, oh, I don't know what to do with my life, but really just kind of connecting with yourself and realizing where your gifts are. So like I said, I found it easy to write. And as soon as I thought about it, I knew, I was like, oh, I can write that. And when I've been at work, I just find it really easy to write documents for people or whatever. But every single one of us has a unique gift, and some people are good at talking in front of other people or communicating in a different way, or some people can just like whip up websites, or they're very artistic. And it's just kind of getting in tune with your own natural abilities and your talents and what feels easy for you and flows for you. And when you tap into that love and that ease, it's easy for you to make the switch. You're not fighting against creating a new you. It's kind of like an onion. You're unveiling, getting rid of the old crap that's there and exposing the true you.
Oh my gosh. I love that. The true you. Oh, isn't that what we are all aiming to bring into this planet? And, with the work that I do, Alison, I feel like I see the true person. I feel like I see them on that soul level, the being that they are. And it breaks my heart when they are still caught up in sabotage, or they're still in those limiting beliefs, and they can't see that actually what they really want, yes, they're going to have to do that quantum leap for it, but it's going to give them everything and more that they have ever envisioned. And it's seeing the real them going, I can see that. I'm sure you can see it in people as well. Oh, I just wish that people could see it like we do, as the energy and everything that they are. So for those that are not sure how to find their true self, what would you say to someone who's in that state?
Really start looking at yourself and looking at your abilities. And it's about finding the thing that brings you the most joy and what comes naturally to you. So when you sit down and you write for a few hours and you don't know where those hours have gone and what you've written is amazing, that's what you should be doing with your life. So really look for those moments where you connect to the flow and the energy of the universe. And we all have unique power, and just look for it.
I agree. I believe we chose, before we came into our physical body, we chose our gifts, talents, and abilities that we were going to bring to the world. And I love that you say that we all have our uniqueness. And I believe it's our duty to bring this uniqueness to the world. I mean, otherwise, then the world is never going to have it. It's never going to have what you came here to bring. And what a disservice to humanity that would be. So it's about seeing your value, isn't it, as a human being?
Yeah, absolutely. And setting an example for like our children and your relatives and everyone who sees you. If you're unhappy on a day-to-day basis, you're just kind of perpetuating that in other people. They think that that's what you have to be to live.
What are some of the daily practices that you have to keep yourself so grounded and so wise and so open to receiving from the universe?
I would love to say that I meditate every day and I do something every day. But to be honest, when I say things like this, it's just like adding to this to-do list and adding pressure on myself. So I really just do different things that make me feel good. So I do a lot of writing and I write poetry, and I tend to do that when I feel like it, as opposed to putting it in my schedule and making myself do it, because then to me it becomes like a chore. So I'm just trying to do things that make me feel good as opposed to feeling like I have lots of work to do.
So going with the flow of your own being.
Yes.
Yeah, we kind of do. We put this pressure on ourselves. Oh, I didn't meditate today. So there's no point me meditating ever again. We do that. Oh, I failed at that. So I can't, there's no point doing it anymore. So going with the flow of what your being needs, whether that be physically, mentally, or spiritually, I think is beautiful advice. And to me, I want to say to you, do you believe that you've been a scribe or a writer in previous lives? Is that something that you are open to believing?
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that. I'm not sure.
To me, I just feel like when we have such a mastery for something, we must have accumulated the skill. You say it just comes so naturally to you. You can write for hours on end and you're like, how did the time go? To me, I'm like, that must be something you've mastered throughout lifetimes to now bring this, to create this incredible legacy into the world. So I know I've put you on the spot on that. That's just how I kind of look at things.
Interesting, isn't it? I think you're right, because it was just the word in my head going, I'm a writer. And I completely accepted that, even though I hadn't really ever said that before. So I can see that could be within me.
As a little girl, what did you see yourself doing? Like, did you imagine that you were going to do something incredible that the whole world was going to eventually benefit from?
Growing up, I do remember saying to my mum, I want to do something important, but I never knew what that was. And I remember like looking in books about jobs and looking at the names of different jobs and just being like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. But I did know that I wanted to do something important.
Wow. So we do. From the beginning, we have this inner knowing about our purpose here on earth. And I think, sometimes life happens and we kind of detach from that. And I'm proud of you I'm sure a lot of people are, for owning who you truly are. One of the things that I love about you is that you want to help people to be in a financial position that is beyond their needs. Why do you think people are so afraid of earning good money or having a lot of money?
I think it comes back to your unique gift, but when things flow easily, we kind of think it's too easy and we shouldn't be compensated for it. It's like growing up with this idea that making money needs to be hard and you need to sacrifice and you need to do something that you don't like. I know I always saw my parents go to work in jobs that they didn't like doing, and I'm sure other people have exactly the same stories, and they miss the time with their family. And I think those beliefs are really ingrained in us. And when we grow up, it's very hard to get paid for something that we think is essentially fun. And then there's a lot of guilt that goes along with that, especially when you're still seeing your parents working in jobs they don't like, or other family members earning little for doing like what is essentially really hard work.
I agree. And, I think for me in the beginning, I felt I had to justify why I was earning what I did, because I never see what I do as a job. I'm like, this is who I am. This is what I was born to do. So for me, I'm not working, I'm creating. I like to look at it in that sense, or I'm serving. And I don't know, I imagine I have the same money blocks as most people when it comes to that. But I really believe, and I'm sure you do too, that abundance is our divine right. We didn't decide to come to earth and be like, oh yeah, I think it would be a really good idea to be really poor and never experience anything good in my life, because I don't think I would have come to earth if that's what we had to go through. And, do you hear people say, I want just enough?
I don't normally hear people say that, but I guess that's the mentality, is like when people are working out their budget, they're like, oh, this is how much money I need to live, and there's not much thought beyond that. It's like, well, how much money do you actually want to experience the life that you want to live? So yeah, that is a block with a lot of people. But like you said, there's so much abundance in this world, and the people doing what they love, and it's really their life's purpose. It's like they absolutely should be getting compensated for it.
Yeah, I agree. It's everything is energy. Would you say that? Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. We don't understand it sometimes, do we? But it's quite easy to forget, but it's like everything is connected. So when you shift your mindset and your energy, then you tap into that.
I think for me, how I like to look at it is as well, we're all interconnected. So if you're able to transform yourself, you give the opportunity for others to transform. If you allow yourself to be abundant beyond your means, then you give the opportunity for others, and that's that cycle. If you are in better health, you give people the opportunity to be in better health. And so with this quantum leap work that you do, what do you feel is the most rewarding part when you're working with your clients?
It's really seeing them where they want to be before they're there. So like you said, it's really heartbreaking seeing people like sabotage themselves or self-depreciate. So it's really rewarding to kind of hold space for someone at the higher level of where they want to be, and then see them grow. And it's just like pushing them beyond where they think they are now. So I think when we set a goal for ourselves, we normally try to do it gradually and incrementally. Like as a life coach, you can really push people beyond that and go, well, what about this? Imagine that you're at this level. Now, how do you feel? Now, where are you going? And it's pushing them outside their comfort zone and where they are. So that's really exciting.
I bet. And would you say you're never going to be finished really, because it's all about expansion and evolution? And so once you're at that step, you can still take it another step further and another step further. So is that kind of how it works, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what's really awesome, is like we're always learning and always expanding. So you're never going to be at this point where you're like, oh, I don't need to learn anything anymore, so I can stop now. And it's also the reason why you can start today, is because it's like, well, you're always learning. So why don't you do what you love now and keep learning while you go?
Always learning. I really believe you have this duty to share your wisdom. And I believe, when you learn something, to share it. And that's part of the principles, one of the principles in the Rise with Love philosophy. And what have you been learning lately? What's something that you have been learning to either master with your writing or with the quantum leap work that you're doing? Share with us something.
Okay, my most recent aha moment is that your thoughts create your results and where you're going. So what you think about is what you can manifest in your life. But sometimes we get caught up in what other people think about us. And that's really another block that I see quite often. But other people cannot affect your manifesting. It's your thoughts create your results. Other people's thoughts do not create your results. They're a separate entity, and their judgment can't affect you unless you let it. And their negativity is a reflection on them. It's not on you. So that was really, I don't know, the penny just dropped for me this week on that one. And I was like, wait a second, I don't need to worry about what anyone else is thinking. It doesn't reflect on me at all.
Oh my gosh, that is such a gem. And I think a lot of people who are listening are going, oh, that's a goodie. And thank you for sharing that with us. I'm so glad you did, because I'm now going, yeah, I knew that. But, it's actually, do I actually apply that? You may know, but you don't necessarily apply it.
Yeah, that's exactly right, isn't it? It's like, people will be going, oh yeah, of course that's true. And it's like, but do you really know that? Are you thinking, oh, if I do this thing, what will everyone else think of me? If I wear this, what will someone think of me? If I say this, what will someone think of me? It's like, it doesn't matter. It's not just what you're thinking. Yeah, so I'm really working on that at the moment.
Oh my gosh, that is a definite piece of gem. We mustn't worry about what anyone else is thinking about us or projecting onto us, because that doesn't manifest anything for ourselves. I love it. It needs to be like a t-shirt. Alison, what is your hope for humanity?
Oh, my hope for humanity is that people go where they want to go and kind of tap into the energy of their own direction and their own true path, and stop getting sucked into the drama of things that don't serve us and keep us spinning out and negative energy. So I guess my ideal world would be everyone is following their heart's passion, and somehow that all fits together into us having a perfect world.
Wouldn't that be great? Oh my gosh, I'm picturing it. It's like living in Smurfland or something, right? With the Smurfs, or living in it with the trolls. If you have children, you might have seen, the Trolls movie, right? It's such a wonderful thing to imagine people are living their passion, because there are so many unhappy people in the world who don't even know how to get themselves out of it. And this is why the work that you do with the quantum leaps is so important, and why I am so frothing at the mouth going, oh my gosh, this work is vital for humanity. And I hope everyone has the opportunity to experience what you do, whether it be through your book that you're writing, being able to read that, or, with practitioners around the world who do this kind of same work, because, there are so many incredible people in the world, and you are serving the community that is going to create those ripples, Alison. It's so beautiful, and I'm so honored that you get to live your passion as you've emerged as your true self.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you so much for having me. It's been so great talking to you. I can really feel your love and your passion, and it's just been a great experience.
You know what, Alison, I feel that we may do something together. I feel the universe has brought us in this space and in this time for a reason. And, we'll let it unfold. But in the meantime, before we, co-create something amazing, where can people find you?
My website is just alisonshift.com, and I'm at Suddenly Alison on Instagram and Facebook.
My greatest wish for you is that you find your unique gifts, just like Alison talked about, and you emerge into the magnificent being you came here to be. Let what is divinely yours enter your life. You are love, you are abundant, you are joy, and you are freedom. And we are just so blessed to be able to inspire you, to motivate you, to take those quantum leaps. Dream big, everybody. Like Alison said, put that action into it. Vision something even bigger than you are currently experiencing and existing. So thank you for joining Alison and myself. I've had the most incredible time, and oh my gosh, I've taken so much from this, Alison. So until next time, peace, love, and blessings, Melissa.